much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you. What?
Do you know these tits, Errol?
I know a lot of tits, Governor, but I don't know any quite as stupid as these two.
It's all good, just a 30-second glitch or something, I think, but just in case, I'll redo that again. Welcome to the stream, the Brews at 10 on my left eye. I'm your host, Lefty. Good to see you all enjoyed the little intro there. Standing ovation from Moise's house. Glad you enjoyed that. Do you know these tits, Errol? Yeah, good film as well. It's a classic. So yes, this is the Brews at 10. Belated PMQs. First of all, kick off with an apology that we weren't with you last night. Had some take back power stuff to do. Super important things. But great to be here with you this evening. PMQs will of course feature Keith's catchphrases. Lots more as well. A few developing stories even shortly before we came on air, so lots to get through. Let's brew this thing, people. And yes, you're all too kind for that standing ovation. Thank you very much. Got the shouty bloke in the chat, great to see you. Doc Davies, Graham Turner, Big Jerry in the house as well, and Lost Kerbal. Or is that pronounced differently? Sorry to see we're experiencing some buffering there. We were as well. Just a bit of a YT studio issue. But all back on track and coming to you in classic, glorious 480. It's a classic resolution. Please hit thumbs up as you join us on stream as well. Help to boost the channel. Help to boost this live stream. Help to boost your spirits as well, because sharing's caring, people. Combustible Lemon, welcome to the stream. Great name. Nice to see you this evening. It has dawned on me once again. Let me know if the fact that it's displaying usernames as opposed to handles as opposed to usernames means that I'm missing anybody who's a regular viewer if you change your name a bit. And, that also reminded me actually, a few people who were normally regular viewers haven't seen around for a bit, maybe a couple of weeks or so, maybe longer. But if not, hope you're well. People like Mobius and Chris, Octo, if you're watching back later. Yeah, hope you're well. Speaking of watching back later, super thanks are open, as well as super chat if you're watching live, and super stickers. Great way to support the channel. In fact, let's get the members scroll. We should have the members. Where's the members? It's not there. It's gotta be. It's hardwired in. What's going on? I won't have this, people. I won't stand for it. Let's deal this personally. Yeah, it should be there, it's not.
Oh god.
But I'll bring it in now. Because this channel won't be where it is without its marvellous members, the mighty Brew crew. 145 strong now. We've started to get back towards the 200, which we surpassed last week. Bit of a technical issue with gifted memberships, so unfortunately saw that drop below the 200, but thanks for all of you renewing your own memberships as well. Massively important. There's a Buy Me a Coffee page as well if you're unable to contribute via YouTube with gifted memberships or super chats and stickers and so on. Check out the link in the description of the stream. I got it the right way around that time, yes. That means I've just not surpassed low energy levels like the other night, apologies. Final bit of self-promotion. If you're watching on a mobile or tablet, please do open some recent video content. That is non-live stream video content on the channel. Hit the thumbs up button, and depending on where you're watching from, it should give you the option to renew. Option to renew. The option to donate hype points. So please consider using that method. Sorry, it looks like, oh god, it's all happening already. Jesus wept. Just 1 second. Yeah, this just might take a couple of seconds again. I've got to freeze. Sorry about the bufferage there again. I'm just going to play the members scroll once more because everybody deserves credit. Buy me a Freddo page, Combustible Lemon. Well, if that isn't actually a thing, then it should be. You may have found a gap in the market there, if it isn't already. That's an excellent idea. But have you seen the price of them now? They've gone up a lot since our childhoods. And whatever your age, it's a metric, a common metric for the economy, for how far your capitalist pound sterling will stretch. I'll give you a clue. Probably not as far as Grandad's. So yeah, I didn't want to miss out any of the members. Of course, everybody deserves credit, and once again, thank you very much to the mighty Brew crew. Your support means everything to us, really does. Okay, let's get into things. Quite a lot to cram into tonight's stream. In fact, before going an opening comedy clip, we'll provide that ourselves with witty banter in the chats and so on. If you don't know what Keith's catchphrases is, I'm going to go into that in a moment. Regular viewers will be more than familiar with the rules. It's very simple to follow. And we do have 2 new contenders this week. Well, I'll explain why as we get through things.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Just before we do, I saw this guy in the shop the other day, and he said,
"On with it! Yes, get on with it!"
"Okay, let's just get into things." Keith's catchphrases, off we go.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. Deliver.
Right, 1 sec. All will be well in one moment, I assure you. Lost. Yeah, a few of you lost in buffering again. It's back here on the studio. Sorry about that, yet again. I should be coming through now, though. You get a sort of a warning about it. That's gone. Right, let's do it.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So what's this all about? Pretty simple. We set 2 words or phrases against one another during proceedings in the House of Commons, during PMQs. The Starmer bots being limited to a certain amount of words and the Labour lexicon, as it were. Again, somewhat limited. It's quite easy to predict a lot of the words that will come up, a lot of the phrases. And this is the basic premise. The 2 words or phrases have to be spoken by Keir Starmer himself. It's a winner stays on format. Unless all of the other contenders have been played by the current champion. But also if it results in a draw, which happened last week, so we do have 2 new contenders. Rule number 3, variations are allowed. For example, past tenses, pluralisation, that kind of thing. Just where the league is concerned, because this is a league format, at some point we will have a champion. It's 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, nothing for a loss. The season will end at the end of this Parliament, Or when Keir Starmer resigns, whichever's sooner, you know which one it's going to be. There's also a hidden feature. That's something we brought in recently. So that remains a secret unless it's uttered. But that has to be mentioned by a member of the opposition. And it doesn't count towards the league as well. Everybody clear on that? The hidden feature thing is just a bit of fun, I guess. Just to reiterate the predictability of it all. Any questions, just post them in the chat. I've got the circle again. Got the warning and the circle. What an excellent time for Kevin Logan viewers to join us. We assure you that you've not immediately joined us as it finished buffering for ages. Let's go! No, very warm welcome. We're just about to get into Keith's catchphrases and PMQs. I'm sure that most of the viewers of this channel will already be familiar with Kevin Logan at Ploppy111. If not, go over and subscribe. Quality content as well, often in conjunction and conversation with the great Helena, MTG, No Justice. That's No Justice MTG to get it in the right order. Yes, the day-to-day Moisha. Excellent stuff. Chris Morris is a veritable genius. I'm more than familiar with that, as well as Brass Eye. We have used clips of theirs before. Yeah, there was one on the Gorton and Denson video, I believe. Just tiny snippets, but anybody who really knows the Chris Morris stuff will know the context of that snippet. The 18 months one. 18 months. Oh, just how bad it got in 18 months for Keith. Right. Quick look at the league, and then we'll get started. Very, very swift look at the league. No time to linger. Security is still top of the league with 12 points, and is actually going to be returning again this evening. With it being a draw last time, 2 new contenders. So a chance to extend the lead over Postman, Swat and Deliver in second with 10 points. We've got Budget in third, Change in fourth, Clear in fifth, and then down into the bottom half. It's a top half contender versus bottom half this evening. We have Plan in sixth, Deal in seventh, and tonight's other contender in eighth. Fix, represented by Nob the Builder, you can see there, not garnering any points out of the 2 appearances thus far, so let's see if they can give themselves a boost and get up to 7th. Then followed by Black Hole in 9th and Inheritance in last place with 1 win and 1 loss and 0 mentions. Absolutely sod all. Right. Stu, celebrating 9 months of membership. It's been mighty fine to have you here as well. And nice to see people, as always, celebrating milestones of memberships. Let's big up Stu in the chat, please, everyone. Security, yeah. Top of the heath, king of the hill at the moment. Bilderberg celebrating 6 months of membership. Solidari-Tea to you as well, sir. Raising a cup to both of you. All right, let's begin. Excuse me. Let's begin, even. Take it away, Lindsay. So you can see security and fix there on the left. There's a hidden feature, which remains a mystery at the moment. Keep your ears out for that one. Just to remind you all, this is still a first time view for me. I've only seen maybe a couple of 10-second bits of this. So no spoilers in the chat, please. Although I do understand, from what I've heard, Kemi Badenoch was quite critical of Starmer's hesitance in getting more involved in the current situation in Iran, but we'll see what comes up. I'm hoping that the new MP, the newest MP, in fact, Hannah Spencer, from here in the Northwest, MP for Gorton and Denson, will get a question in. So let's see.
In the chamber, I'd like to remind members of the need for good temper and moderation in the language that they use in this chamber. As Speaker, I am not responsible for the specific questions asked by individual members.
Not only is that a really good blend into the... Don't worry, I'll play the video, it's not just this. For anyone who hasn't seen this before. Just want to give ourselves a pat on the back for how good a blend that is. But what's this about him saying he's not responsible? What's happened? Have I missed a controversial session this week?
Or for the answer given by ministers. So I encourage all members to engage in respectful debate.
He normally says we've got, the attaché or delegates from wherever in the gallery this evening. He's skipped that now.
As our constituents would expect. We now come to Prime Minister's questions. Josh Fenton-Glynn.
Can't say I know what that was all about.
Number one,
to be honest.
please, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The situation in the Middle East remains serious and volatile. This government will be resolute in our focus, protecting British lives, bringing our people home, and safeguarding our national interest.
Ooh, I thought he was good.
Speaker,
nearly.
Today, my thoughts are with the
Sorry, I thought he was going to say national security.
Family and friends
But he
of
didn't.
Sarah Everard on this very painful and...
Oh, yeah, it's the anniversary of Sarah Everard's murder by a Met police officer, isn't it? An absolutely despicable case, if ever you'll hear one. And then the police then went and attacked people holding a silent vigil immediately after it had happened. That was when the Tories were in, of course, but still a despicable stain on the Met.
Anniversary. 5 years ago, I said her death had to be a turning point, and this government is committed to halving violence against women and girls. We are acting in our schools, our police forces, online and offline, to keep women and girls safe, to prevent boys and men becoming abusers, and supporting victims to get justice and closure. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to echo the Prime Minister's comments on Sarah Everard and the situation in the Middle East. From the sound mixing desks made by Calrec in Hebden Bridge, which brought the world its Winter Olympics coverage, to the valves made by Blackhole Engineering in Brighouse, which bring water to New York City, Calder Valley's specialist manufacturing is recognised the world over. It brings good jobs and sustainable work.
And we barely have any of it anymore in terms of certainly not on a grand scale. The word British in front of various manufactured things. Now it's all services, of course.
But with 1/3 of engineers over 60, the last government left our manufacturing workforce facing an existential crisis. Will the Prime Minister please work with me to make sure that the new Growth and Skills Levy will support good quality manufacturing jobs in Calder Valley and across the country?
Well, my honourable friend is right to champion brilliant manufacturers. Our modern industrial strategy is driving up standards, investment, jobs and growth. And our Growth and Skills Levy ensures we have the skills we need supporting more short courses in critical sectors, including engineering. We're investing over £700 million to support thousands more young people into apprenticeships, in stark contrast to the 40% fall in apprenticeships starts under the party opposite.
Kevin Baird, not the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, can I pay tribute to our brave servicemen and women in the Middle East during this very difficult period? Yeah. Our bases in Cyprus and Bahrain have now been attacked.
They have, Kemi, and after PMQs I'm going to be getting into that. So you're implying that they were attacked by Iran. Well, there might be some evidence to the contrary on that matter. I'll keep you guessing on the alleged source of this potential false flag attack. The answer was in there's a bit of a hint there.
The US has taken offensive action to destroy missile launch sites to defend British territory. Why will the Prime Minister not allow the RAF to do the same?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I make clear this is obviously...
Well, I just need to make clear, Keith. This was at 11 a.m, I believe, sometime this afternoon. Starmer confirmed that more jets are going to be sent not directly to Iran, but to Qatar. So at the same time as telling us that we're not getting involved, we are actually getting involved. And this is going to do him wonders in the polls, by the way.
It's an extremely serious situation, and I know the whole country is worried about the potential for escalation. They're worried about the impact on their lives, particularly when they see what's happening with energy. The family and friends of those who are caught in the region will be worried.
Well, just as predicted, because it's more or less mathematical, economical certainty in these sort of circumstances, yes, energy bills are going to go up. We've already seen petrol and diesel prices rising. Looking around, let's say, average price of diesel about this time last week or 10 days ago was maybe around 135, 140. Now it's in the mid 140s, going on £1.50. Some people might wildly speculate petrol and diesel could get over £2 a litre. I'm not sure if they're being a bit hyperbolic or not, but point is, people, that is the citizens of this country, are already feeling the pinch already. But I do recommend public transport where possible, of course.
Worried sick about them. And of course, we've got civilians and military personnel at risk in the region. We need to act, therefore, with clarity, with purpose, and with a cool head.
And yes, we've just put 300,000 British citizens in harm's way. Some of them will be expats, some of them will be dual passport holders as well, not just from Iran, but the surrounding countries. Keir Starmer wants to act as though they were just sitting there having nothing to do with this, and then Iran suddenly decided to attack them. He doesn't expect the British public to be smart enough to know that there's such a thing as US air bases on foreign soil, and they've got quite a lot of them around Iran and in the Middle East on the whole, just in the same way that they surround China and Russia with them as well. Is that a coincidence? I'm not entirely sure it is.
The protection of UK nationals is our number one priority. And we're taking action to reduce the threat, with planes in the sky in the region intercepting incoming strikes, deploying more capability to Cyprus, and allowing US planes to use UK bases to take out Iran's capability to strike.
Also, you know that bases are a thing, at least. At least he acknowledges the existence of bases. But all of those US bases that were attacked were in other countries, and they have been helping those countries to attack Iran. And that is why, perhaps warfare is a completely new concept, or strategy is it's easy to see why strategy might be an alien concept to this guy, seeing as all he's done since he took over was give us more Tory austerity and tanking the polls to -45, a record low. Others had him at over -60 at one point, but still way in front of Gordon Brown and Thatcher.
What I was not prepared to do on Saturday was for the UK to join a war unless I was satisfied there was a lawful basis and a viable, thought-through plan.
Well, if this all rests on the attacks on Akhtiri, you've got some pretty bad news coming, Keith.
That remains my position.
That wasn't the question I asked him. Nobody wants to see an escalation. The fact is...
You do.
The fact is, Mr.
She does.
Speaker, our bases, in case they don't realise, our bases have already been attacked. Iran is trying to kill our servicemen and women. He is catching arrows rather than stopping the archer. That's what we're talking about.
Got news for you as well,
Why is he
Kemi.
asking our allies to do what we should be doing ourselves? We are, I would say to Labour MPs, we are in this war whether they like it or not. What is the Prime Minister waiting for?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me give a little more detail.
She just, fuck diplomacy. I'm not sure if we're going to mention, if we're going to hear mention of a diplomatic solution of peace talks in this as a suggestion. But Badenoch's come straight out of the blocks with "let's go, go, go. Why aren't we going harder?" I mean, it's just war, isn't it? Whether you like it or not. There's certainly not, to be so dismissive of the chance of a diplomatic resolution, of a chance of a sustained peace agreement. Just no. As soon as there's a whiff of it, they start muttering defence contracts in their sleep, don't they? Defence. See previous streams and previous points about that. You don't defend your country halfway around the world when that country is no threat to yours whatsoever. You defend it within your own borders.
Because for a number of weeks now, we've been pre-deploying our capabilities to the region. In doing so...
Oh, right, okay. I can sort of foresee where this is going to go now. So he's at the same time trying to back up his earlier statement that we won't get involved. And at some point there's going to... but then we found this out moment. Or there was an incident moment. But at the same time, he's going to have to try and satisfy Kemi Badenoch, who wants us to get involved further. So he's going to have to gloat about doing something that he's said that we won't do. But he's an expert at painting himself into a corner, isn't he? I'm sure if you go to his house, there are just painty footprints in every room, on every floor, in every house that he's got. With his, sometimes he has special guests as well. Special guests.
So we've been liaising very closely with the United States, as the House would have expected. Therefore, radar systems were pre-deployed, ground-based air defence was pre-deployed, counter-drone systems were pre-deployed, and F-35 jets were pre-deployed.
This is the sort of thing they're going to have to deny that they did in the future, the same way as they're doing with Israel and Palestine. Like F-35 jets, Lammy there is either normally shaking his head and denying that we're supplying Israel with F-35 parts, and then in these instances, oh yeah, we're mad about F-35 parts, we've been, have as many as you like.
Mr. Speaker, that is why, since Saturday morning, multiple F-35s and Typhoons have been in operation not just in the Middle East, but across Cyprus. Further missions were flown overnight, Typhoons defending in particular Qatar, and F-35s defending other regional ports.
Qatar?
We're resupplying our air defence missiles today, Wildcat helicopters with anti-drone capability.
By the way, I've paused it just at the right moment there. You might see a flailing arm, just a reminder to the right of the screen there, between Keith and the chat box. But that is not an MP losing their shit. It's the British Sign Language experts who is being obscured by the chat. Just as a reminder, it's like a little hand reaching out to touch Keith and, hey Keith, here's the truth.
Will be in Cyprus this week, and HMS Dragon will be deployed to the Mediterranean.
HMS Dragon.
In agreement with the US.
It's going to be next fucking HMS Targaryen.
They're using our bases to conduct the operations to strike Iranian missiles and launchers. Mr. Speaker, that is the action that we are taking. That is the agreement that we've reached with the United States to protect our nationals.
I can't believe there's not been a security yet.
The Prime Minister has read out a long list. It is not enough. He says that we are pre-deploying. The one ship which we are sending, HMS Dragon, is still in Portsmouth. The fact is the Type 45s cannot
HMS
take out
Titanic, yeah,
incoming
Graham.
missiles. This is not enough. He's read out a long list. The people who understand know it is not enough. He should be doing more. Yesterday, the Chancellor...
Doing more? Like what? Just vague demands of more of this and less of that. Are you gonna set him a target, a quota, a time limit, or what the fuck? Just do more. Just I don't know why it popped into my head. Someone showed me a clip from an old, I think it was from an old TV sketch show. Can't remember which one. But it's basically a football manager at half time just shouting at the players to be better at football. And it's the same with this. Do more war. Do good politic. Politic equals good, equals true.
Could have given more money to defence. Instead, I don't know why they're laughing. I don't know why that's funny. Yes, not funny.
Well,
yesterday,
you're not making a lick of
Chancellor
sense.
could have given more money to defence. Instead, she gave more money for welfare.
Come on, I'm no fan of Keith, but even I've pointed out just how much he's already raising national defence spending and his aspirations for the end of the century as well, to get it even higher. Yeah, that's a separate issue. That's to do with what he and the rest of Europe are accusing Putin of wanting to do. But no, the industrial military complex is on crack at the moment, Kemi. 100 billion recently committed to Ukraine.
Their priorities are all wrong, Mr. Speaker. Their priorities are all wrong. They can chanter as much as they like. The fact of the matter is that the war in Iran is happening now.
Order. Mr. Bailey, I don't like that. I don't think it becomes you either. An officer and a gentleman, I expect more. Come bed on.
The fact of the matter, Mr. Speaker,
an officer and a gentleman.
I don't need. I can lip read as well. So please, let's learn something. If not, you'll learn the way out. Come bed.
Quite.
Mr. Speaker, the country is not going to be distracted by Labour MPs moaning. The fact of the matter is that the war in Iran is happening now. But the OBR say the government...
Oh, God, you can read a newspaper or a headline scrolling through your media feeds. Really? Yeah. Is it now? Is it now? Thanks for reminding us. Isn't she an absolute well of knowledge?
Won't hit 3% on defence for 5 years. The war is happening now. There is no urgency from the Prime Minister. Why
it was
is
last
he
year
leaving
as well.
the job of funding our armed forces to the next government?
Prime Minister.
I'm not going to take lectures on defence from the party opposite. They came into office and what did they do? They cut the defence budget. They missed army...
Order.
He's up again.
Mr. Philp, you've moved from there to there. You're even louder here, so I think twice. Prime Minister.
Not only did they cut the defence budget, they missed army recruitment targets every year for 14 years. They left morale in our armed forces at an all-time low, and our forces hollowed out. That's the words of Ben Wallace, the former Defence Secretary. Labour, by contrast, is delivering the biggest boost to defence spending since the Cold War.
Oh, nearly went for the button. Deliver. It does get me almost every time.
£270 billion over this Parliament. And we're doing that because we're focused on what matters. And she's right. The war is, of course, happening now. We have to focus on that. Across the country, people are worried about those that are trapped in the region. And, Mr. Speaker, that is why we're taking action.
That you trapped in the region.
And I can update the House.
Help to.
I can update the House that yesterday more than 1,000 British nationals arrived back in the UK on commercial flights from the UAE.
1,000? Oh, that's good. What, 1%?
A further 8 flights
8
are due
flights.
to leave the UAE.
There's fucking well over 250,000 of them, Keith. Fucking hell. And we've sent a car to, pick up some of them. No, it's actually a minibus. Told now. Quick update from the Foreign Secretary to my right.
For the UK today, I can confirm, Mr. Speaker, that the first charter flight is expected to leave.
Oh, sorry, no, that's Cooper now.
Oman later today, and 2 more will come in the coming days. The country really does want to know this. I'm sorry. Family and friends are worried sick about people who are caught out. I will not be put off. I can announce.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Oh, we're looking after them. In the meantime, yeah, let's send America and Israel more assistance, with which we know Iran will retaliate against. They've set them up to get trapped in the first place, and now they're trying to act like the heroes, and, oh no, this is very important. This is... The people want to hear this. What a wanker. What a twat. What a fucking...
Wimp! Pervert! Nubbin!
Announce, Mr. Speaker, we will lay on additional charter flights in coming days. British Airways are now laying on an extra flight from Oman, and the Foreign Secretary will have further discussions today. And can I urge all those in the House who have constituents who are caught in this to make sure that they do register their presence so we can do whatever we can to help them get home safely.
Mr. Speaker, I wasn't asking about evacuations. I was asking about defence spending.
Fuck those guys. We want a proper war. Why aren't you doing more warring? Come on. Do more war. Who gives a fuck? 300,000, meh. Fuck you bloody people. She probably is sour against them now because a lot of them are expats as well, They've abandoned our country to contribute to another's economy.
He needs to focus on the question he's being asked, not the statement that was prepared in the bunker. He stands there telling us that he's spending more money on defence. They're saying it.
They are.
No, he isn't.
They are.
They are cutting.
Even I will. Of course they are. I'm not backing Starmer up. He's still a massive absolute tool. But they are. The whole of Europe is. We're not doing it as much. What, do you want us to be like fucking Poland?
Defence spending by £2.6 billion from the MOD budget this year. And that's why there are no Royal Navy warships in the Middle East, Mr. Speaker. In June last year, he should ask his Defence Secretary for the numbers, because that is what's happening. In June last year, Mr. Speaker, the government promised that its plan for funding our armed forces would be ready by autumn. In autumn, they promised it would be ready by the end of
You should be able to hear me now. Sorry, we had some buffering there. I think we're okay now, though. Just skipped it back a few seconds for anyone experiencing buffering.
In June last year, he should ask his defence secretary for the numbers, because that is what's happening. In June last year, Mr. Speaker, the government promised that its plan for funding our armed forces would be ready by autumn.
How is it still nil-nil?
In autumn, they promised it would be ready by the end of 2025. It is March 2026, and still nothing. So can the Prime Minister tell the House when his defence investment plan will finally be published?
Prime Minister.
Well, I'm sorry she's not interested in how people caught in the region are going to get home. I think for the...
Although, again, not backing Badenoch, but you answered a question that she didn't ask. Yeah, she doesn't. She could have responded, or at least acknowledged that situation. But just diving straight into that's not what I asked you.
Vast majority of people watching this PMQs, that'll be the single most important thing on their mind. They cut defence spending, we're increasing defence spending. And we're doing that, Mr. Speaker, because we've stabilised the economy. Yesterday, the Chancellor announced inflation was down, interest rates down, borrowing down, debt down. Investment living.
I really, the call and response, where it gets very repetitive and then they start to join in. It's like some sort of fucking shit game show, or like Keith's catchphrases or something like that.
Standards growth up. Now, I know the Leader of the Opposition doesn't understand that.
It's fucking cringe,
the Shadow Chancellor clearly doesn't understand that. Although I do have to thank him that in what's been a very difficult week, he provided some excellent unintended stand-up comedy in his response to the Chancellor yesterday.
Mr. Speaker, he doesn't want to talk about the defence investment plan because he doesn't know. He doesn't know what is going on any policy, so he reads statements that are pre-prepared irrespective of the question, and the whole country can see it. The truth is that because they spent money on welfare, there is no defence investment plan. Because there is no defence investment plan, they are not ordering enough missiles. The fact is that this crisis goes beyond defence spending. They can chant as much as they like. They are pathetic, spending money on welfare instead of defence spending. Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
God. 90 grand a year, this fucking idiots.
Mr. Speaker, they're not just pathetic, they are also weak. This crisis goes beyond defence spending. It is also about the cost of living. This war is interrupting the supply of oil and gas. That is driving up the cost of petrol and making it more expensive to heat our homes.
Well, that's what happens when you have an economy based on fossil fuels and said fossil fuels having to be imported from other countries despite us having an abundance ourselves off the, in the North Sea, off the coast of Scotland. But no, lo and behold, even we managed to fuck all of that up. We don't even refine our own oil, by the way. But, yeah, when that's the most fundamental part of your economy, then you've set yourselves up for disaster. And not just because that's what international warfare can do in these situations, but also you pretty much put all of your chips on a finite resource. And then what you're going to do? You're in Fuckville.
He is stopping drilling in the North
California
Sea while importing the same oil and gas from Norway. Does he think that at a time of geopolitical crisis, it makes sense to kill our oil and gas industry and give up that ready supply of energy?
Well, the question of the energy supply right now is a serious question, and we are doing all we can with allies to make sure that that is preserved. And it's vital that we keep trade flowing through the Straits of Hormuz, Mr. Speaker.
They'll set it on. They said anything that tries to move through the Strait of Hormuz will be set on fire. That is exactly what Iran have said about that situation. Yeah, but fuck it. Just try and plough through anyway.
The energy...
Got the buff. Got the warning up again once. I'm just going to hold back a second in case it's buffering for anyone.
Right now is a serious question, and we are doing all we can with allies to make sure that that is preserved. And it's vital that we keep trade flowing through the Straits of Hormuz, Mr. Speaker. The Energy Secretary met the International Energy Agency yesterday, and the Chancellor...
Okay, well, the cutaway to the relative minister or cabinet member is normally streeting, but obviously this is an energy matter. There he is, Ed. Renewable Ed. Yeah, let's go. And not do nearly enough.
Is meeting oil and gas companies today.
I bet he is. What, in the car park at night, wearing trench coats in the shadows?
We're keeping in close contact with our allies and key industry players. Again, I think the country wants to know what we're doing now.
Why doesn't he meet with renewable energy companies? Why isn't he meeting with Dale Vince, for example? No?
In relation to what's happening in coming days. Mr. Speaker, oil and gas will be part of our energy mix for many years to come. But if Ukraine and the last few days have taught us anything, it is that all the time we're on the international market, we are vulnerable to these changes. That is why renewable energy, where we have our independence and security, would take us off those markets and give us the security that we need.
Finally, off the mark.
Speaker, the Prime
Security,
Minister again does
1-0.
not understand the energy transition. You do not need to stop drilling in oil and gas to get renewables. This is basic stuff. He doesn't understand his policy. He's got a sea of orcs and goons who have no idea how anything is working.
Orcs and goons. Orcs and goons. It's a new one. A sea of orcs and goons. You're all fucking bastards. The whole rotten lot of you.
At all.
For now. But those seats could be filled up by some better people pretty soon.
Mr. Speaker. They can complain.
I don't mean reform, I mean the fucking
all they
Greens
like,
or your
Mr.
party.
Speaker. The fact is, they are letting down the people out.
Order.
Don't know why
You
they
can't do a point of order in the middle of Prime Minister's questions.
Mr. Speaker.
Well, he is right. You do that at the end, but when it happens, they're usually speaking whilst everyone else is fucking off because they don't really care. Whoever's raising the point of order, what they're concerned about, and then they get a pretty routine response from the speaker, and then whoever asked it is just generally left stood there by themselves and go, "Oh, this is awkward. I'll just go to one of the umpteen bars now because it's going on midday and I'm only half cut." Ah, MPs. Crack on.
That's my question.
You don't listen to the questions anyway.
Mr. Speaker.
You don't listen to the questions anyway. I don't know who said that. Not worth.
The situation in Iran shows this Prime Minister has the wrong priorities. When it comes to defense, it's someone else's job. When it comes to welfare, they find the money. When our bases are attacked, they call the lawyers. When our energy security is under threat, they stop drilling in the North Sea.
Kemi.
Mr. Speaker, the truth is...
Kemi. He's committed to an expensive venture in backing the United States in this war, sending jets, whatnot, all the stuff he tried to gloat about. Costs quite a princely sum. He's done this without the approval of Parliament, rushed it through. If you actually followed the proper procedure, there would be debates about this in Parliament. But again, not interested in the proper channels. They at least did that during the early 2000s with Iraq, but no, just crank it up. Let's go, go, go. She must have just bought a shitload of stock in BAE this morning, first thing as well.
Or, in fact, Mr. Speaker, after last...
In the chamber, I'd like to remind members of the need for good temper.
We've got the circle. Oh, what's going on? Yeah, we've got the circle again.
welfare, they find the money. When our bases are attacked, we're going to hear it, Mr. Speaker, whether they like it or not. Is it not the truth that he is prioritising his job security over our national...
She set him up for a security. Sorry if anyone had some buffering again there for a moment or two. Apologies again if your points aren't appearing on the live feed, Edward. Yeah, something else that's out of our hands as well. Oh, goodness. It's, you know, fortunately, the gifted membership started working again recently and then other things crop up. It's probably that bloody Paul Mason since I've been... we've been slagging him off on in videos and on social media. He's grassed on us to Israel. They're doing their best to try and fuck up our process. But we have a strong resolve here at My Left Eye. That was a Lucy joking accusation, by the way.
National security.
But if you are watching, Paul, just, yeah, fucking come at me, bro.
Mr. Speaker, I spent the week protecting British lives and our national interest. And Mr. Speaker, moments like this define a leader of the opposition.
Did he?
They can...
Well, the former leader of the opposition was right about Iraq. Have you taken heed of what he's had to say? If not, I've got him coming up in some clips post PMQs. But I don't think you're going to particularly pay good attention to that. In fact, like I pointed out on the last stream, Corbyn, been a member of Parliament long enough to have hindsight about the bloody Falklands War.
To step up, act in the national interest and show that they're fit to be Prime Minister, or they can expose their utter irrelevance. She has chosen the second.
I didn't miss security there, did I?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank the Prime Minister for his leadership and his cool head on the situation in Iran? Prime Minister, the leasehold system is legalised extortion.
I wouldn't describe immediately capitulating to the pumpkin spice Palpatine as keeping a cool head. It's rather subservient. The so-called special relationship doesn't really exist. The relationship goes as far as we just do what America tell us, like some sort of glorified lapdog who picks the papers up off the floor for you. Emily's nearly fallen asleep there. She's almost sick of it.
Last week, I met with dozens of my constituents, their leaseholders and their tenants' residents associations. They're all telling me the same story. Every single month, they're paying hundreds of pounds while their service charges keep skyrocketing. They're trapped between bad managing agents and a system that is broken. Can the Prime Minister tell me what this Labour government is doing to right this wrong once and for all?
Prime Minister.
Well, I know my honourable friend has been fighting for her constituents and holding management companies to account.
That planted question was sponsored by defence contractors. Have a nice day.
Our reform bill will end the broken, outdated leasehold system and make the dream of home ownership real. Mr. Speaker, we're capping ground rents, delivering transparency on service charges and scrapping the presumption that leaseholders pay landlords legal costs. Our focus is on saving people money and giving them more control of their home and creating a fairer housing system.
Sir Ed Davey, Leader of the Liberal Democrats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks on
That
Sarah
was the
Everard
biggest load of
and the
crap
need to
I've
do
ever heard.
far more to tackle violence against women and girls? And can I also associate myself with the Prime Minister's remarks on Iran? As we rightly debate how to make tax exiles pay their fair share, it is absolutely right that the government does everything it can to get all British citizens to safety.
Like the tax, like your Isabel Oak shots, for example. You'll excuse me if I don't stray myself reaching for the small violin on their behalf and their like as well.
Mr. Speaker, experts are warning that families could see their energy bills rise by £500 a year. Warning that families could see their
No complaints in the chat. It was just buffering here for us for a couple of moments there. Again, apologies. It's rogue agents. That's what it is.
Energy bills rise by £500 a year as a result of Trump's illegal war. But millions of families and pensioners are already struggling to keep their heads above water thanks to years of a cost of living crisis. When Putin invaded Ukraine, he and I campaigned for months to get the Conservatives to act on energy bills. This time, will the Prime Minister save families that anxiety and give a cast iron guarantee today that he will not let energy bills rise by £500 this year?
Prime Minister.
Can I thank him for raising this, because I know this will be a concern to the public who are watching what's going on and very concerned about the impact it will have on their lives. It is important that I emphasise the actions we've been taken urgently this week with our allies, with the energy agencies across the world, and the work we're doing to make sure there's safe passage for energy across the world.
Keep it in the ground. Keep it in the fucking ground. Oil. Don't dig it.
We will continue to do that. I was glad that we were able to bring energy price bills down by £150 announced just the other day. We will keep a very close eye on this.
No, you won't, and even if you do, that's a pittance.
For the British public.
Sir Ed Davey.
Well, I thank the Prime Minister for his reply, but I hope he will act if energy bills do go up by £500. Mr. Speaker, Donald Trump's war on Iran has not only brought more chaos.
Hidden feature unlocked. Hidden feature unlocked. Please try to remain calm during this extraordinary event.
Sir Ed Davey has unlocked the hidden feature, and here he is. That's the first mention. He gets his own little corner here. The pumpkin spice Palpatine. Let's just bring that up, as well as the count. This is a wee little corner there. Trump corner. So that's this week's hidden feature. Trump. Carry on, Ed. You skydiving, canoeing, trampolining, death-defying motherfucker.
Across the Middle East. It's increased the threat to our national security here at home. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has previously plotted several failed terrorist attacks in the UK, targeting Iranian journalists, British Jews, and members of this House. Now they are more desperate and dangerous than ever. We've called for the IRGC to be prescribed as terrorists for years. The last government failed to do it, and so has his. So will the Prime Minister table...
Edward, the only thing stopping America and Israel from taking over the entirety of Iran and having more or less full control of the region, which has been their objective and remit for some time now. In fact, Iran have been preparing ever since the first Gulf invasion in the early 1990s, let alone the second one in the early 2000s. So, yeah, for some, 30-odd years now, they've been preparing for this, wise in the knowledge that America has them in their crosshairs. Sir Ed Davey doesn't seem to be aware of that fact, but yeah, it's their army, and they don't just call it the country army, whatever, or the whatever forces, because it's got the word revolutionary in it. It has to remind people how in the 1970s, swathes of the population wanted to undo what we in America had done to them during the 1950s. Ed.
Emergency legislation to better protect our country from Iranian terrorists. Will he do it this week?
Yeah. Just going to repeat that question for anyone who missed it with the bufferage.
Desperate and dangerous bills do go up by £500. Mr. Speaker, Donald Trump's war on Iran has not only brought more chaos across the Middle East, it's increased the threat as terrorists for years. The last government failed to do it, and so has his. So will the Prime Minister table emergency legislation?
Sorry, I was finding the position. That was still the first Trump that was mentioned there. In fact, I've not even put the score up. Or changed it, that is. Apologies. I guess I had one mention. Carry on, Ed. Ed's weekly bullshit.
To better protect our country from Iranian terrorists. Will he do it this week?
Prime Minister.
Can I just, again, thank you for raising this. It is very important, I say to the House, that as he would, and the House would expect, we are working 24/7 on dealing with any threats to this country. And I spoke on Monday about the 20 Iran-backed threats that we had successfully dealt with, and we continue to do so, and we're working on it 24/7. So it's important that I say that. In relation to
They call us the little Satan, don't they? Apparently, you know, for everything that we've done with America over the years, over the decades.
IRGC, obviously, we've put in place a number of that. In relation to the IRGC, obviously, we've put in place a number of sanctions already. We don't comment on prescription, but we have made the case that there needs to be legislation to deal with state-backed terrorist groups, and we're looking into that.
Sam Rishwood.
Like the IDF, you mean?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The surge in the global cost of oil and gas has the risk of pushing up food and energy prices, which is a real concern for my constituents in Bishop Auckland, just as we're turning a corner on the cost of living crisis. Doesn't this show the importance of ignoring the parties opposite and investing in secure, renewable energy that we control and backing our farmers to produce the food for our nation, such as those that I'm hosting here today from County Durham,
Is there a question in here
and will
somewhere?
the Prime Minister ensure that both energy and food security are a core mission of this Labour government?
Prime Minister.
Well, his energy security is critical to food security, and the sprint to clean energy is the only way to get off the volatile international fossil fuel markets, cut bills and deliver energy security. And Mr. Speaker, since we came into office, over £90 billion of investment into clean energy industry has come in, powering millions of homes. Tories and Reform would throw all that away and cling to the failed policy that put everyone's bills up throughout their reign.
Gavin Robinson.
Mr. Speaker, can I associate myself and my colleagues with the Prime Minister in his remarks around Sarah Everard and Iran? Mr. Speaker, my colleagues and I support our armed forces, but we lament how diminished the UK appears over the last week amongst our allies and within the Middle East. The Prime Minister is not responsible for our armed forces being able to squeeze into Wembley Park and to Ibrox, but he is responsible for our posture. He is responsible for ignoring the request to deploy a Type 45 destroyer 2 weeks ago into the region. And we now learn that HMS Dragon will not leave.
They're all mad for war now,
hasn't
aren't they?
left and won't be in to defend Cyprus for over a week. Will the Prime Minister understand that I welcome the commitment for increased defence spending, but if we're only planning to get to 2.5% by 2027, it's not enough. It needs to be reconsidered. He needs to go faster where others before him did not. And he needs to take these steps not just for protection of our values across the world, but also for the protection of our consumers who are impacted by this conflict today.
Minister.
Well, he'd have heard me set out what we did by way of pre-deployment, working in conjunction with and liaising with the US so that he understands the context in which those pre-deployments were put in place, and I think they speak for themselves as to why they were put in place in the places that they were. In relation to defence spend, obviously we're increasing it to 2.6% of
all going
GDP.
to die,
That's
you
£270
idiots.
billion over the Parliament. But as I said in the speech I gave in Munich just a couple of weeks ago, we're going to have to spend more and faster after the years of underinvestment and troop cuts.
Spend faster.
They were the ones that hollowed this out. They were the ones that reduced the size of the army. They were the ones that didn't spend what was necessary on defence. Like everything else they left in such a mess, we're clearing it up. Through our strategic defence review, we'll make Britain safer.
Jonathan Davis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Like the Prime Minister, I had the transformative benefit of a music education as a young person, although he had his some while before I had mine.
Get on with it. No fan of Keith, but he's still got a much better hairline than you do, fella. Even though he is aging by the minute.
Decade of declining music in schools, the government's new National Centre for Arts and Music Education and measures coming through the curriculum review will ensure that more young people benefit from the opportunities that my right honourable friend and I both had. So can he tell us how will the new National Centre make a difference for our young people, and what is the government doing to address funding shortfalls currently facing England's music education hubs, including mine in Derbyshire?
He actually loves the back benches, Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, my life was changed by the opportunity to study music, yes, very many years ago. I believe that every child deserves that opportunity. The party opposite cut those opportunities. That particularly excluded poorer children. And now they call creative arts courses a dead end. I totally disagree. They're the lifeblood of the creative industries that showcase Britain around the world. And the new National Centre will launch this year, and Labour is investing in music hubs so every child has the same opportunities to enjoy music, to learn music, and to learn the skills that music brings them for life.
So that their careers can meet a dead end because everything's been overtaken by AI, which didn't even come up there, but that's one of the massive problems where the music industry is concerned. There's a lot of AI slop as well.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my
And the circle's back up. Just have to hesitate for a couple of seconds till it goes. Hope you can still hear me. Big Jerry, thanks a lot for the shout. Good to have you here on the stream as always, brother. Took a few moments there, but I think it's back now.
constituency, the Lib Dem run Three Rivers District Councils failed for years to submit an adequate local plan. They now have a ministerial direction, and prime Greenbelt land faces a serious threat from this government's harmful planning policies. How does the Prime Minister expect me to explain to my constituents that while I consistently defend our Greenbelt, the Lib Dems' incompetence has made it vulnerable to its destruction by this Labour government?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, this Labour government is changing the planning regulations so that we can get on and build the homes that we need across our country. Their failure was the failure to do so, but I must applaud him, because at least he's had the decency to accept some of the failures of the last government. On Send, he said, "My government didn't do enough on this. It's awful." And he said his party should hang their heads in shame. He's absolutely right about that.
Dr. Rosanna Arling-Khan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The suitability and financing of temporary accommodation needs addressing urgently. Children arriving on my shifts in A&E with breathing problems due to mouldy rooms in their temporary accommodation has become a grim reality. And since 2019, 74 homeless children have died due to the conditions of their temporary accommodation. And meanwhile, councils are facing a £4 billion black hole funding hole, huge hole, if the government subsidy remains frozen. Every death is a tragedy, and I'm sure the Prime Minister will agree with me that an urgent review needs to happen to investigate the financial shortfall and help guarantee safe homes for every child in this country that is in temporary accommodation.
Disgraceful
Well, I
and
thank you for a question. We inherited an appalling situation
21st century.
with a record number of households in temporary accommodation. Every child deserves a safe and secure home. Mr. Speaker, we're investing £950 million in the Local Authority Housing Fund to increase supply of quality accommodation. We're banning Section 21 no-fault evictions, introducing
They've really got it in for us tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last month I visited my old school, Woking High. I saw classrooms built in the 1960s that were meant to last 20 years, but are still in use and being held together by gaffer tape. I visited my old music classroom. I nearly fell through the floor and I saw a hole in the roof. I can still remember the stench of mould. That classroom was condemned last year. Please will the Prime Minister agree to come to Woking High with me to see how bad it really is and ensure that my old school urgently gets the financial support it needs to ensure that in the 21st century my young constituents can be educated in a school they deserve.
Yeah. Can I thank him for raising this case, which will be a real concern for his constituents, and I'm sure the party opposite will have heard the reality of what they did over 14 years of destroying everything in this country. We are fixing that, and I'll make sure that he gets a meeting with the Honourable Minister to discuss
Not the
further.
builder. Finally gets a mention.
Mr. Speaker, after decades of failing policies under both Conservative and
3-1 now.
SNP governments,
Time for their comeback.
I welcome this Labour government's major
Maybe.
drive to get young people earning and learning. In my constituency of Ayr, Carrick and Cumnock, by working with Ayrshire College and the Pride and Place Board, we have finally a chance to break this cycle and bring real youth-focused regeneration to our high streets through the DWP Youth Initiative. Will he meet with me to discuss this important issue, and will he support making Ayrshire a priority for a DWP Youth Hub?
Mr. Speaker, the party opposite left 1 in 8 young people not earning or learning. We're not, and we'll tackle it. More apprenticeships, more career sport, a jobs guarantee to provide paid employment, a youth guarantee to provide more young people into earning or learning, and over 360 youth hubs to help young people access opportunities. My honourable friend makes a strong case, which my honourable friend, the Work and Pension Secretary, I know has heard, and I hope there will be good news for her later this year.
Bacon.
Mr. Speaker, the United States of America is our most important international strategic ally. Does the Prime Minister believe that his dithering and equivocal response to events in the Middle East this week has made that relationship stronger?
That feeling isn't mutual. The press and politicians certainly don't bring up the UK nearly as much as we bring up America. So, yeah, it's pretty one-sided where this is concerned. They say jump and we say how high. That's the way it's been since the end of the Second World War. Yeah, we stood up to them on Vietnam. Certain threats were made by Lyndon B. Johnson as well at the time. But now we're certainly well in the pocket of America. Otherwise, we'd be directly distancing ourselves away from this the same way that Spain have done, if we had any sense of morality whatsoever, special relationship. And stick that up your penis.
Or weaker.
Hey, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the American planes are operating out of British bases. That is the special relationship in action. British jets are shooting down drones and missiles to protect American lives in the Middle East on our joint bases. That is the special relationship in action. Sharing intelligence every day to keep our people safe. That is the special relationship in action. Hanging on to President Trump's latest words is not the special relationship in action.
The hidden feature has to be spoken by one of the opposite parties, don't forget, so that mention by Keith passes without score.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2018, this House legislated to allow the prescription of medicinal cannabis for children with drug-resistant epilepsy, a campaign spearheaded by my good late friend Hannah Deacon for her son Alfie. Yet many families...
I think we're back. Sorry for the buffering once again. A few delays. But just while I've got it paused, yeah, it sounds crazy. The sort of thing that people might try and criticise Zach Polanski for example. But those sort of treatments do work.
Hannah Deacon for her son Alfie. Yet many families are still paying around £1,300 a month due to conflicting guidance from multiple agencies. Does the Prime Minister recognise that this isn't the will of the House, and will he agree to work with me and the Secretary of State for Health to secure a modest £2 million required for an observational study to relieve these families of this unacceptable burden?
Prime Minister.
Hannah Deacon's campaign for her son Alfie.
What do you think I'm made of money? If you're starting a war, come see me. 2 million. Oh, we'd spaff that up on a few missiles here or there, but we can't find 2 million quid.
Was remarkable, and I know how much
I'll
she's
set you up
missed,
with a meeting or something.
Thank my honourable friend for continuing to campaign. We are investing £8 million in clinical trials on cannabis-based medicines for conditions like drug-resistant epilepsy. And
what about that specific one
accessing safe, effective
you mentioned?
medicines and new treatments
just
as
two,
quickly as possible.
Just a couple of mil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government's proposed terms of reference for the inquiry into rape and grooming gangs are fatally flawed, as victims and survivors have pointed out. They won't address the role that race and religion played in motivating these crimes. They won't lead to prosecutions for those involved in the cover-up. And they won't even investigate all cases, only a select few. The consultation on these terms ends this Friday. If enough people call for changes, including through groomingangjustice.uk, will the Prime Minister please assure us that the final terms of reference will reflect these concerns?
Baroness Longfield is now beginning the work of the inquiry, with victims and survivors at the heart of the process. Under this government, convictions that are at their highest level ever. We're introducing mandatory reporting on child sexual abuse and putting a legal duty on police to collect ethnicity data. But forgive me if I don't take suggestions from the honourable member who said people legally...
David Lammy seems to realise that this is really far-fetched, considering the aforementioned relationship with the man in the White House. And also why he recently had to let the US ambassador go, as well as strip him of his peerage. Do you want to talk to them about this sort of thing? Absolute hypocrisy, rank hypocrisy of the most potent order.
And settled here should go home to ensure that the UK is culturally coherent.
And instead,
that is a grotesque way.
Implying that most of those cases are committed by immigrants. Has this man no shame?
to talk about our friends and neighbours. And I rather suspect that her next question will come from her sitting up there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 9 years, 4 months ago, Britain was basking in its success of the Rio Olympics. But each day, month and year since, women have lived with the chronic pain of undiagnosed endometriosis, according to Endometriosis UK's new report. The UK's average wait time for diagnosis has worsened since 2020, with women in Scotland waiting even longer, with an average wait time of 10 years and 2 months. At the start of Endometriosis Action Month, will he commit to reduce diagnosis wait times and end the lost decade for women living with endometriosis?
Well, can I thank her for this and tell her that we hosted the International Women's Day event on Monday, and I spoke to so many women who are concerned about this issue. It is totally unacceptable that women have waited sometimes up to a decade for endometriosis diagnosis. We're renewing the women's health strategy, improving training for doctors and cutting wait times for gynecology services. These will be prioritised through NHS Online or investing in research on how to improve diagnosis and treatment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. After his inept and failed coup against the Prime Minister, last week Anna Sarwar announced Labour's Scottish new campaign slogan. It wasn't into the abyss, it was rather the inspiring hold your nose and vote Labour. But with the stench of the Mandelson scandal still in our nostrils and the stink still emanating in the Labour Together affair and just the general whiff of rot hanging over this doomed Prime Minister after his hammering at Gorton and Denton, isn't it the case for Scottish voters that some smells are simply too unpleasant to ignore?
Prime Minister.
Oh, that's good. Oh, we've got a freeze here. So, one moment. We'll just go again from here.
Sarwar announced Labour's Scottish new campaign slogan. Labour Together.
Prime Minister.
Anna Sarwar has been asking his party to be honest about the political pressure they applied at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital and taking the action that's needed to reassure patients and families. This scandal shows how much Scotland deserves change with Anna Sarwar.
Scandalous, you mean?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my constituency of Watford last week, several amazing charities held their annual sleep out. They raise awareness of homelessness with people signing up
just a
to
couple
sleep
of minutes to go,
outside at Watford Football Ground. Over 120 people raised over £15,000 of vital funding, and over 200 attended, including the volunteers. Watford FC Community Sports Education Trust, New Hope, Hearts Young Homeless, One YMCA, Dens and Hand on Heart did a fantastic job. Britain's Got Talent semi-finalists Electric Umbrella were on hand to give a performance to participants. Will my right honourable friend congratulate their efforts and outline what the government is doing to end the scourge of homelessness?
Can I thank him for raising this, because everyone deserves a safe place to call home. And let me pay tribute to all of the organisations working to tackle this. We're investing a record £3.6 billion into our national plan to end homelessness. That includes, Mr. Speaker, boosting the supply of temporary accommodation, record funding for tackling rough sleeping and ending inappropriate use of B&Bs for families, and no-fault evictions, which we know drive people to homelessness.
Final question, Zoe
Thinks they don't deserve a bed or a breakfast.
Franklin.
What a saint.
My constituent Hannah tragically ended her life using a substance purchased from overseas. Following her death, the coroner issued a prevention of future death report containing specific recommendations. Since 2019, Molly Rose Foundation has identified at least 65 similar cases where coroners have made recommendations to separate government departments. Progress on these issues has been slow, and vulnerable people continue to be left at risk as a result. Will the Minister set out what steps the government will take to ensure systematic oversight of coroners' reports and their findings, and will he support proposals for an independent national oversight mechanism to track trends in preventable deaths and ensure lessons are learnt so that future lives can be saved?
Prime Minister.
I thank you for raising the individual case and the general cases and reassure her we are working on the very issue that she's raised.
Point forward to Katie Lamb.
The Prime Minister has...
Well, that's it. Well, like I said, they immediately start to leave. Oh, that's the end of the clip. Anyway, but victory for security, 3-1. 3-1. There's the final score, and gets an even bigger lead on the league standings. Let's take a look. So, what will that mean? A 5-point lead is what it will mean. Having played 6, so we'll update that. Unfortunately, Vic's third time out and third time unlucky. So was C, but security will come back to defend next week, but having already played against Postman Twat and Deliver means there'll not be an opportunity to make a gain. So could security go on a bit of a streak yet again? We'll have to see. And what do you think about that session in Parliament? Let us know in the chat. Please make sure you've hit thumbs up as well, whether you're watching live or back later on. That was PMQs and Keith's catchphrases. Back again next time.
We now come to Prime Minister's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Deliver. Black hole. Plan for change. 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 Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I still have time to get into 1 or 2 more stories. Let's see what's happening. Hoping you can hear me. Ian McKenna, nice to see you. Good evening. Yeah, aren't we so lucky to have these leaders, as you put it there, JK? Right people might not have time to get through everything that I've hoped. We'll save any clips that I don't use for a future stream. Fortunately, where Iran's concerned, that's likely to come up again, for example. Plus, we spoke about that a lot during PMQs. However, I do want to quickly just point out 1 or 2 things. Yeah, first of all, this that we mentioned during PMQs. It's been confirmed now that the drone which targeted the RAF base in Cyprus just a few days ago was not launched from Iran. Good meme there from Chris the Beard on Insta, I think it is, and Bearded Chris on Blue Sky. So I think that's the Blue Sky logo. But yeah, Starmer's got so much resting on that having come from Iran, and now he's lost that already. I mean, it even took Tony Blair, you know, years and years to admit that Iraq didn't have WMDs and these 45-minute claims were absolutely false. But within the week. Keir Starmer has been debunked. Wouldn't you believe it? We normally take a look at a few polls after PMQs. I'll very quickly just remind you all of this one, because hopefully it'll put a smile back on our faces. Yeah, just 2% behind Reform now, the Green Party, second, according to a pretty solid YouGov poll. Huge boost, of course, coming off the back of Gorton and Denton. Reminder about that. In fact, yeah, we'll play this clip. It's only a brief one. Brought this up during PMQs as well. David Lammy is certainly not feeling too optimistic about Labour's chances at the next general election, so let's take a look at him with it's Robert Peston. But like I said, it's only a short clip. But he does admit quite a weakness in this statement. Let's see what's happening.
Rich, you know, it's tough having a bottomless pit for money. Being a poodle to Donald Trump, it's really tough being complicit in about. I mean, I only make £93,000 a year, you know, plus obviously kickbacks and whatnot from lobbyists. But won't somebody think about it? It's tough. It's tough. Have some sympathy, Robert. Won't you have any sympathy for poor David here? Go on, tune the small violin immediately. He's right. What am I doing with this socialist stuff? I've been thinking about, you know, how tough it is for David Lammy in 18 months, you know. 2 child benefit caps. Winter fuel payments. Student loan debts recently. Failing massively on environmental policies. Oh, what's that? There's a war? Better start crunching some numbers and hitting some transfers. David, this, look, 16%. You're 5% behind the Greens. And you're saying, oh, it's all a nonsense. That level with the Tories. Now just 2% in front of Lib Dem. And 7 points behind Reform. And they're acting like they're still at the apex, at the summit. Top of the hill, king of the heath. These little town blues. He said, he tried to sneak it in, but the Tories and Labour are going to have to get together, is what he's saying. With this, you know, look at the imaginary ball. Look at it. He's fascinated by the imaginary ball. Don't you see it, Robert? I see it. They're not, well, it's imaginary to you. It's real to me. And in that magic ball, what does he see? He sees the Tories and Labour coalescing, but officially this time. God, Keir Hardie will be turning in his grave at the sight of this. He really would. And not just because he's returned the centre. There's no centre. You're either left or right, David. That's what it always comes down to. Capitalist, socialist, proletariat, bourgeoisie, so on, so forth. But yeah. Oh, and just by the way, we're going to have to get together with the top. God! That's worked so far. You couldn't be any further camped into the so-called centre, which is the right. It's just the right, but they don't want to say it. Look at the policies, and when it comes to the crunch on progressive issues, no centre, no moderates, won't hear of it. That's where they've been the whole time. That's not any change of tact or a response to the crisis. They're just treading water, going over old ground. They're stuck on repeat.
So to tell you, I've got no doubt about.
You're not going to win the next election, David. There's a fighting chance of them getting slightly higher in the polls if they have a different leader by then, which they almost certainly will, of course. But it's not going to be enough. Whomever that might be. So they're fighting a losing battle, and that's not going to get anywhere just using the same old tactics, only this time team up with some other losers who nobody likes. Good idea. As opposed to adopting some proper policies. The Greens are beating them. Basically, a lot of it is on the premise of what Labour promised. At least what they promised before the election in the manifesto. They are going further than that with a lot of issues as well. But they're beating them with their own promises. David Lammy there. Quiet part out loud. It's the brand new team. It's official. Labour on the Tories and the centre camp. Yeah, I was going to play some of Starmer's announcement earlier concerning Iran and, you know, telling us we're not getting involved and then sending fighter jets to Qatar. But like I said, we went through a lot of that in PMQs just there. It's going to come up again, as well as some of the box pops with MPs on the matter. To be honest, I'm Starmered out now, so I'm going to skip over that. We've had plenty of that so far on stream. However, check out this tweet, which if you've not seen it might raise. It's not one of ours, just one came across earlier. A credit. 3-year Letterman and Helena Villa on Twitter, currently known as Twitter. Well, what can you say? It's crazy because, you know, to find the flag, you go into your keyboard and you open the characters and type in, you know, or in the flag section, type in the name of the country. Or he's just scrolled and gone, yep, that's Spain. That's Spain. I'll go for that one. I'm confident. You know, you could just type it in. No, I know which one. How dare you doubt my geographical prowess, you half-wit. No, it's definitely this one. Are you sure? Because, I don't know, the football team's kit doesn't look too much like that. I don't know if there's any green in there. Yeah, he used the Portuguese flag, referring to Spain. Literally cannot name one thing that Spain does better than America. Great comeback there from Helena Villaro or Villa Zero, whichever it is. Yeah, well done. Speaking of excellent comebacks, just another little snippet of Mohammed Said Morandi, I believe it is. He was always very calm and collected when exposing the real facts about what is going on. He is Iranian, of course, himself, and spokes. Check this one out, debunking some of the latest stuff. But yeah, I guess he puts it just as well as I could, probably better. So let's hear from the professor.
Iran will defeat the United States. Time will tell. And our drones that are being fired are very old drones. Our missiles that are being fired are very old missiles. They're very inexpensive. And Americans are using up
this on Channel 4,
very expensive air defense systems. The Iranians know exactly what they're doing. We haven't even begun using our latest technology, and most of Iran's underground bases have not even been used yet. They have not even been opened up for operation. The Iranians have been planning for this day ever since the invasion of Iraq. They knew that at some point the Epstein regime will go after Iranians, and therefore they've been preparing themselves for many years.
Epstein regime.
We are fighting for our homeland and our sovereignty and our independence.
What percentage of Iran's missile stocks remain?
The vast majority.
Because after last year's war, it was estimated that Iran had used up around 40% of its missiles. Are you saying that was replenished in the last few months?
Well, what, who told you that?
Those numbers were always fake. Those numbers are provided by the Israeli regime to the media in order to convince foolish Americans that war against Iran is simple. This war was supposed to end in a day or two. The 12-day war was supposed to bring Iran down like a house of cards. That failed, this failed, and now the United States will have to pay the price. And if the United States escalates, that will mean that the most sensitive region in the world, the Persian Gulf, where a quarter of the world's energy comes from, everything could be destroyed. And if that happens, it doesn't even matter if the Strait of Hormuz is open or closed, because there will be no oil or gas, and there will be no tankers. For Iran, this is a fight for survival. For the United States, this is a war of choice.
Well put, well put. Thanks, Graham. Yeah, of course, he's a US citizen born in Iran, just to clarify as well. So, yeah, there's going to be nothing to plunder when they get over there. If it's possible that this could be America's worst exit strategy, or lack of yet, I think that is what we're looking at getting in the future. I'm being perfectly honest, and it's not too good. Still no sign of any clear targets or directives. Now, obviously, the Ayatollah was assassinated, and is it just a continuous attempt to take out future replacements for the Ayatollah? Don't know. Trump hasn't said. We don't know. He's not even lied. He's not said anything. Neither has stopped. We'll just get into this because reasons, as the UK. So well said, as always, from Professor Morandi there. Yeah, the shortcomings of Iran being somewhat overstated by our media, as well as the damage that's being done to Iran. So, the mainstream media, once again, not painting the full and proper picture. Not just about the level of support either for or against the so-called regime, but also for Iran's capabilities, also the damage that they've been doing in Tel Aviv, which you won't hear much mention about, and
well, take a look for yourselves when you see clips like this. It's demonstrates just how little we're hearing about how ineffective the so-called Iron Dome is. Multiple hits there. What else have we been hearing in the mainstream media? I just get the background. Yeah, quick point about this submarine that has sunk an Iranian naval vessel. Of course, we heard about this one. However, the full story, the full picture on that isn't being either put out at all or emphasised perhaps as much as it should do, because under neutral circumstances, essentially an exercise, a naval exercise, with both the US and Iran being involved, as well as other nations, being carried out. The United States took the decision to withdraw from the exercise and then fire upon US naval vessels, but then they also left the vessel stranded, and some 1,500 Iranian naval staff perished. They just literally stood there and watched them drown. It's quite unbelievable. So you sort of you get the idea. The mainstream media tries to paint the picture that this, an all-out battle during naval warfare. No, far from it. Quite shady tactics there from the United States. But they've also had a lot of oil tankers hit. Yeah, quite a lot of stories floating around at the moment, yeah. Cowardly act, Graham, quite right. And yeah, not many Iranians will have their own bunkers, will they, of course? Point there. Don't have the clip to hand, but did see a clip of some IDF soldiers hiding and sheltering and well, basically bawling their eyes out. But as well as that, there's been a lot of pushback, a lot of protest against this, of course, from the, saner elements of populations around the world that don't want us to be dragged into World War III by the US and Israel. But what I'm going to do with this clip, I'm going to play it, and then, if you've not actually seen it, have a guess where it's being held. Because that comes as a surprise. See what's happening. I think I'll have to. It's already. Yeah. I'll have to zoom in a bit because it gives the location at the bottom. But you won't be able to see that.
5, 5, 6, 7, 8, Israel's a terror state.
I just got some buffering again at our end. I'll pause that for a moment. You might see some weird lot of shaking on you. Just correct this. Yeah, I think it works.
5, 6, 7, 8, Israel's a terror state.
איזה כפיות טובה, איזה כפיות טובה. מי עוד פה נמצא?
עצור את המלחמה. How many kids have you killed today?
לא מתביישת, מיכל? את לא מתביישת? בוא'נה, יאבלים, יא חסרי עמוד שדרה. חבורה של יאבלים, אנשים מסכנים. אנשים מסכנים, מסכנים, באמת מסכנים.
Okay, so this is actually in Jerusalem, in Israel. Well, obviously it's Jerusalem's sort of segregated, as it were. But these are Israelis protesting against their own government, calling their own government genocidal. There are people from other nations there as well, but a lot of Israelis openly calling out their own government as genociders. Now, this is sort of it began with domestic issues. Of course, Netanyahu also facing a lot of corruption charges, so on and so forth, economic protests and whatnot. And now, I think, especially since they've realised the Iron Dome doesn't create the safe haven that they thought it did. They've been increasingly vocal against Netanyahu, but now even going as far as to call it a regime, call it genocidal, call him out for his war crimes, as well as his domestic corruption charges as well. Yeah, so I was quite surprised by that. In fact, here's the confirmation there. That was just yesterday in Jerusalem. Pretty brave, if there were any IDF around. Goodness knows what could happen. We know what this absolutely despotic Zionist outfit is capable of, even attacking its own citizens. And we've seen that. We've seen that at other protests in the country as well. Want to share that one with you people? Yeah, I would have liked to have had more time to talk about that matter and other matters, and stuff have to fly through pretty quickly now. Yes, we'll quickly go to a song of ICE and Fire, as just before we came on stream, it was announced that no other than the head of ICE herself, Noem, has been sacked, has been let go. And so let's see what's happening in the latest episode. yeah, you've probably already heard the news, especially if you're watching in the States. Shout out to viewers from over the pond. But the way in which it happened as well is just something I want to focus on. Yeah, without going into too much detail, she's fallen behind, basically, and obviously Renee Good, so on and so forth, being examples of things, well, I don't want to say getting out of hand, it's just absolutely batshit crazy what ICE have done. So there's a myriad of reasons, there are a myriad of reasons. As to why she should rightly be let go. But take a look at this. As she was being sacked, the decision was announced, that is. Apparently she'd not been told beforehand, and while speaking to a group of reporters, the notifications are going off, and getting the news that she has actually been removed. But while she's doing it, she's wrongly attributing a certain quote to a certain author, which I'll come on to after this short clip. So yeah, while she's saying this, she's getting it's announced on the news and social media that she's sacked.
In such a way. In fact, it reminded me of the quote that is often attributed to George Orwell that states, "People sleep peacefully in their beds at night only because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalves." Which means you step up in order to protect people, and you do it in a way that other people often are never going to be required to. When in such...
Well, first of all, Orwell never said that. I think it's sometimes attributed to other people, like Winston Churchill or Gandhi, I think, perhaps. But yeah, completely wrong. Probably completely out of context with whatever she was responding to, and literally live as that was happening at, well, 7 minutes past 1 Central Time in the United States. This has turned out to be a final appearance. Quite a fitting end, I think. So she's going to be replaced by Senator Mullin, and you can see there it's named as replacement. And I guess perhaps South Park are going to have to rewrite some bits or episodes or whatever now, because the Department of Homeland Security chief is getting the day off tomorrow. And good fucking riddance as well. Yeah, so just a brief episode of a song of ICE and Fire on this stream there. And like I said, I'll save some of those other clips for the future. Because we have to get towards the end of proceedings. But do stick around, people. First of all, of course, so a massive shout out to all the members once again. A quick reminder to anybody who might be watching back later on, super thanks are also available, as well as a Buy Me a Coffee page. And don't forget to open some recent content, video content, non-stream content on your mobile devices. Hit the thumbs up button and please do consider using some of your hype points as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Honestly, can't tell you how much we really do appreciate the support on the channel. Every single member of the Brew crew counted. Quite a few of you watching live at the moment on stream. $145 now towards the target of 250. Thank you very much.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Can dig it. Cyrus. Yeah, stick around, we're going to be raiding in somewhere else. While I do that, double check that you've hit thumbs up on this very stream. Also, and thank you to Graham Turner with the super chat. Good night, great to see you as always. Solidarity, brother. Thanks again. Let's give Graham some appreciation. Big up in the chat. Solidarity. So who's around this time of, well, the morning now? We usually have to go stateside. Surf times. We've got this space as well. Should we go surf times? It's been a while. Yeah, let's go for it. I'll have to make a very quick decision. Okay, that's locked in. And we'll be back with more streams later in the week. Once again, thanks for being here. Thanks for being cordial in the chats and all of that business. I've been your host, Lefty. This has been the Brews at 10 on my left eye. Free Palestine, Sudan, Yemen and Lebanon. Don't let the bastards grind you down, and my left eye will be seeing you soon. Good night.
The door is open and you can leave.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn